Hello and welcome back to the Law of Attraction Tribe podcast. All right, today is Halloween, so I figured it would be fun to tell some creepy AF stories that have happened recently. So, first of all, just being in like the Halloween spirit and everything, I wanted to remind everybody in the Manifest It Now app. I have put together all of my like favorite abundance rituals that I do like around the house, things that are really good for like the start of a new month, a new year, to call in abundance and money. I've put that all into a like format where you could just scroll and see all 10 of the rituals. So that's in the Manifest It Now app and it's in the Manifest Money section. So there's that. There's also the new subliminal, You Are Magic. And holy shit, like I listen to this all day long. Like anytime I'm feeling kind of just blah and I need a little boost, I've been listening to this. And so it's in the subliminal section, but also when you open the app, there's like a new start here section. And I put that there because I feel like it's a good subliminal to start with, to start tapping in to that magic, that manifesting power that we all have. We just haven't been taught how to access it. So those are some updates. There's lots more coming, but I thought those are fun, especially on Halloween. So I told you guys in the past about one creepy, scary thing that happened in my house, and there's been some updates. So I figured Halloween is the perfect time to share this stuff. So before, the thing that happened in the past, this was a few years ago now. It was when Aiden was still in his crib and there was this shadow figure like over his crib that I saw one night in the middle of the night. I had woken up um to hearing screaming, like babies screaming. And it like panicked me, right? And but then when I woke up, I like didn't hear it still and I was confused. And so I looked on the camera because we had a camera looking like into the crib so we could check on him. And I see this shadow figure like over hanging over the crib, like standing, but like hanging over, like kind of like looking down at him. And I thought, okay, am I dreaming? I like literally wiped my eyes because I was thinking maybe I'm like not fully awake. I'm seeing things and it was still there. And so I took a screenshot like as I'm running into the room because I'm like, I wanted to check back later to see like, am I crazy or is there something there? And so I go into the room and Aiden's wide awake, but he's like totally fine, completely like not phased, not crying, nothing. And there's nothing there. And so it really creeped me out. So in the morning, I look back and yes, sure enough, there is this figure in the photo. And so I posted it on Instagram. This was a long time ago. And, I was getting all sorts of insight from different like mediums that I know and spiritual workers and things like that. And we never did really figure out what it was, but I just kind of like the energy of it, I just felt like it was Dustin's mom, like my mother-in-law, that was like watching over the kids. And I think the reason I felt that is number one, I did not feel like threatened or scared. Like it didn't feel like negative energy at all. Um, and a couple of the different people I was talking to, they said it's more of like a protection, like whatever this is, it's like watching over your son. And I remembered while I was pregnant with him, I did this call with this woman out in Sedona who's this like energy worker. She does Akashic records and stuff like that. And this was right when my mother-in-law had passed away. And she had said that I can call on her for help. So she was like, he's going to be a really difficult baby. He's going to be really colicky, crying all the time. You're going to feel like at your wit's end. And when you feel that way, you can call on her to come and help. And like she can come and, watch over him like by his crib while he's crying, and she can help soothe him and calm him down. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting. Like I never thought about that. And she's like, yeah. So, when he's colicky at night, like she can be there. And she specifically said, like, she could be watching over him while he's in his crib and like soothing him. And so, just fast forwarding and seeing this like shadow like over his crib that was, I heard the crying, but then when I went in there, he wasn't crying. He seemed perfectly fine. I thought, okay, well, there it goes. Like that's her. Um, so anyhow, like hadn't seen that since. Um, Kind of forgot about it in a way. But then you fast forward to now. And in my room, there has been like, so I have these three big windows in my room, and there's these like white shutters that I close at night. And on the shutter, there's this like shadow figure at night that looks like a person. Like you would think a person is standing there. It looks like the shadow of a person. So the first time I saw this, like it startled me, and I look and there's no one there. But like when at night, the loft, which is right outside of my room, there's windows in there, and like outside of those windows are palm trees. And so I just kind of told myself, well, that's just like a palm tree. And it's coming through that window. And since my door is open, it's like casting a shadow into my room. But that's what it is. Like, that's what I told myself at night to just sleep and not get freaked out. Well, a little while later, like a few weeks later, Amelia, my middle child, comes in the middle of the night. She had a bad dream or whatever. And so she comes in and she starts like crying, and she's like, Mom, who is that man standing there? And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, that shadow. There's a shadow. Someone's standing there. And she points to the shadow that I've been seeing every night. And I was just like, oh my God. I'm like, so I'm getting like really creeped out, and I'm telling her, no, 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 like it's okay. It's just the palm tree coming through that other window. It's nothing. And she's like, okay. And so whatever, like I just have been putting it out of my mind. Well, then the other day in the middle of the night, I got up to go to the bathroom, and I noticed, I was like, huh, it's not there. Like it's gone. This shadow is gone. I still had my door open. The loft window was still open. And so I'm like, okay, maybe it wasn't the palm tree, but then what the hell was it? And that creeped me out because I'm like, if it was the palm tree, like I would still see it. And so that like sort of freaked me out. Um, so that happened. And on top of that, there's something else that's been happening for years. And I think I talked about it like a while back when I had one of the mediums that I've worked with in the past, Vanessa was on, and I was telling her about this, but for years I have had this experience where I'm laying in bed and I'm not asleep yet. Like I'm not fully out. I'm just in bed, my eyes are closed, I'm starting to fall asleep. And it'll feel like the dog or the kids are like jumping up into the bed. And like literally, it will feel so much like that that I will turn over to be like, oh, who's there? Is it the dog? Is it Aiden? Is it Amelia? And no one's there. And it's really creepy. Um, and even though it's like you have that moment of like kind of confusion and creepiness, the energy doesn't feel threatening. Like it's not like when you're in a scary movie and you feel that like threatening energy, like this is some evil entity. Like it doesn't feel like that at all. Like totally harmless, not threatening, but it startles you, because you're expecting someone to be there and then they're not. And so this has gone on, and this will happen, every week or so for years. Um, and sometimes if I do feel creeped out, like I do feel a little uneasy, I'll just be like, no, like go away. I don't want to deal with this right now. And it stops. So I've just found that to be helpful, like almost like I have to invite this energy in, whatever it is. Um, but then the other night I felt it, and it was like right up against me. and it felt like someone was like sleeping right next to me. Like it was very alarming and it really, really bothered me and creeped me out. And so then I was like, just doing that again and again and again. Like, you are not welcome here, whatever you are, whatever this is, like, go away. I don't like it. And it's been bothering me ever since. Well, one of the things I was wondering is, could this be sort of like a side effect from the gateway experience? So, on an episode a while back, I talked about, the gateway experience, which is from the Monroe Institute. Our CIA has studied this. There's declassified documents on it, but the Monroe Institute's like a thing, and they have these different programs. And one of them is to help you with astral projection. And astral projection is where, when you're asleep, your like spirit or soul like leaves your body and you can go and, kind of like float around and see different things. And it's this supposed to be this like really cool thing or whatever. And I thought it was kind of intriguing because I was following some people that were doing it. And what they say is that we do this all the time anyways. We just don't realize it, but you can become like consciously aware of it so that you can kind of like control it and learn from it and whatnot. But one of the things that the guy said was that right as you're getting ready to do that, it'll feel like someone's in bed with you, or like you're moving, and it's like your soul like leaving the body or whatever. Like it's like you astral projecting. And so I thought, like, well, maybe it's that, like maybe that's what this is. Maybe it's not any, spirit or anything like that. Maybe it's just me, and it's like startling me awake or whatever. So that kind of, the whole thing just kind of freaked me out, and I'm like, I'm just not gonna like listen to the gateway stuff anymore, because I just want to know, like, I want more information on what's happening. And I don't really know that I'm ready to open that door. And so I've decided to shut the door and just hold off on this stuff for a while. So the other thing, the big thing that happened was, I was in the bathroom, like the kids' bathroom, like in the loft or whatever. And so when you look out of that bathroom, I was like, I don't even know what I was doing in there, cleaning or something. Um, and I see, like, coming up the stairs and going into our bedroom was my husband. And he was supposed to be in the pool with the kids. And so I was like, oh my God, like, did he just leave the kids in the pool? Like, they're too young to be in the pool by themselves. So I go running in the room after him, because we have windows in the bedroom that look out to the pool. And so I go run over to the window and to see if the kids are like in the pool by themselves. And sure enough, there's the kids and there's my husband with them. And so then again, it was like this confusion, like, what the fuck just happened? Because I know I saw something. Like, it wasn't even like something out of the corner of my mind. Like, I know I saw someone walk into my room, and now there's no one there. And so, of course, like, I'm looking all over my room, trying to like figure out what it was I saw. The room is empty, there's no one there. And so then I'm like freaked out, I'm like, what the hell is happening? And around the time of the solar eclipse, up until now, I've been kind of following it, right? And so there's been these massive solar flares and these coronal mass ejections. There was one a couple weeks ago that was like one of the biggest ones ever. And it was directed right at Earth, which normally it doesn't. Like, it's spinning and it'll spin off like away from Earth, but it was directed right towards us. And so what the, scientists say is that these solar flares and these coronal mass ejections, they hit the electromagnetic field that's protecting the Earth. And when they do that enough times and with enough force, it can start to weaken that field. And one of the people, and I don't even remember who it was that I was listening to, they were saying that when that happens, you can kind of think of it as like the veil is thinning because when that field is weakened, one of the effects that it can have is our intuitive abilities are stronger because there's no barrier like sort of protecting us from that. I mean, there is, but it's weakened. And so they're saying, there's all these spiritual people that are saying, you'll notice people who their spiritual abilities will come online. They'll feel super intuitive. They'll start seeing things or hearing things, and they're able to connect because the veil is thinner. And I have noticed that. I've noticed that with me. I have noticed that with various people I've talked to where it's like they're having these experiences or they're feeling just super tapped in and connected to like source. Like they're getting all kinds of downloads. Their like intuition is spot on, which that's another thing. Like I feel like my intuition has been so crystal clear. It's like I'll get this intuitive hit and I know for sure exactly what it means and I don't doubt it. I don't question it. Like it's just stronger than it's ever been. And so all of this has me believing that maybe that's the case. And maybe there is this sort of like thinning of the veil, and whatever abilities we have are just more so. They're coming online in like a powerful, very noticeable way. So I'm curious for anyone that's listening, has this happened to you? Have you noticed any shifts since the solar eclipse or since these solar flares have been happening? Do you feel like your intuition is heightened or like you're getting more of those gut feelings? Like there's just an inner knowing about certain things or knowing about things before they happen. Um, Connecting with the other side, seeing things, hearing things, feeling things. Like, is this happening to anyone else? Because I know it's happening to other people. I just want to know the extent and like how many people are experiencing this. And that's basically what I'm chalking all of this up to. And so, again, like, I'm not totally freaked out because I don't feel any energy that makes me feel scared or threatened in any way. It's more curious, but like cautiously curious, like I feel like I have heightened awareness of everything that's probably always been there. I'm just now, for whatever reason, tuning into it and picking it up. And maybe these solar flares and our weakened electromagnetic field is doing that. So I would love to hear everyone's thoughts and if you're experiencing this. The best way to reach out to me is to DM me on Instagram at Law of Attraction Tribe because I check all my messages. So yeah, let me know. I'm so curious. Let me know what you've been experiencing and if you think it has anything to do with these solar flares and our weakened electromagnetic field. So anyhow, those are my creepy stories for Halloween. I hope everyone has a safe and fun Halloween, and I will see you back here on Monday. Thanks for tuning in.